The information from this presentation will come from the article, A Meta-Analytic Review of Achievement Goal Measures, Different Labels for the Same Constructs, or Different Constructs with Similar Labels. The purpose of this article was to understand the main constructs of achievement goals and what they really mean, and also to review previous research to find out if the main constructs that were being used across different studies were being used with different meanings or the same meanings. In the research in this article, it talks about the variety of definitions that would be used for one construct. For example, performance approach would mean one thing in one article, but then another article it meant another thing. What is an achievement goal? An achievement goal, according to the article, is a future-focused cognitive representation that guides behavior to a competence-related end state that an individual may approach or avoid. Important key terms for understanding achievement goals. So I did goals and competence. Goals are representations of desired results or end states, and competence is the actual end state. I felt that these were important for me to define because a part of these is what makes up the different achievement goals. Goal-directed achievement striving. This is broken down to two categories, performance and mastery. Performance is demonstrating something, and that falls under the lines of ego orientation, relative ability, self-enhancement. And then there's mastery, which means developing something, which focuses on task orientation, learning, and mastery challenge. The four different types of achievement goals: performance approach, performance avoidance, mastery approach, and mastery avoidance. The first achievement goal that we're going to talk about is performance approach. There are three different categories of a performance approach, which is appearance, normative, and evaluative. Appearance focuses on the demonstration and affirmation of ability or self-worth to an audience. So this basically means that when a person is doing something, they do it in a certain way. So they do it in that specific way for the exact reason of how they want others to perceive them. And then normative is how a person compares themselves to others. So it's like competition. So maybe a person will do it this way so that they feel that they did it better than another person that did it. And then there's evaluative, which is a combination of appearance and normative. And it's basically, so a person does something because they want to be better, like the example I just gave. Then there's performance avoid, when a person does or does not do something in the attempt to avoid negative outcomes, such as performing poorly. So that means that a person will say something like, I didn't take the test today because I didn't want to get a bad grade on it. Mastery approach is motivation that is based on interest and curiosity. Mastery avoid, when a person avoids being able to master a task or activity and they fail to learn or to develop a skill. The avoidance version of the achievement goals is the same as the performance version, except it usually includes the fear of a negative outcome. For the research in this study, it was a meta-analysis done on 243 different studies that talked about achievement goals. There were 9 altogether. Throughout all the studies, there were 91,087 participants. The research in this article is important because it discusses the importance of the different achievement goals having the same definition across all studies so that future research can be more reliable. And this is important so that when people are reading studies and trying to learn more about what achievement goals really is, there's a clear definition of it and they'll know exactly what they're really talking about. Because if one person reads one article and performance approach means one thing, and then they read another article and it means something else, then they don't really have a clear view of what it is, and then they won't really be able to describe their research in a proper way that'll be able to fit more into others for future research. The limitations from the meta-analysis was that the authors included said that some elements from past research was left out when defining achievement goals, and that's because they wanted their definition to be clear and very concise. Only measured goals, no manipulated goals. Most of the moderators were confounded variables, and the sample size for mastery avoidance was small. And one of the categories, the numbers was only 10 for the sample size, um, and it only includes articles up to December 2006, and now it's 2017, so that's 11 years ago. Future research for achievement goals should include more precise and consistent definition for achievement goal and the constructs that are as part of it. And potentially, researchers could come try to agree to how to conceptualize these different goals so they can become easy to measure, and the research will be more clear across the different studies.